The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Ask for Candy, 101 Ways to Make Your Love and Your Life Sweeter. Who I am Candice, Harper, lovecoach.com, honey. I teach and inspire audacious intimacy to powerful, professional, grown women who want real relationships and seductive singlehoods. And I always say that dating and relationships can be hard, but love is always easy. And you are listening maybe on your TuneIn app with the smart device, on Armed Radio, or maybe listening in the garden on armedradioglobal.com. We're also now available on iHeartRadio. So if you have an Alexa, you can ask for Candy. Or maybe, just maybe, you are joining us live on Facebook. I see my Rebecca has joined. What's up, Rebecca, my sweet love? And people will trickle in as we're talking because that's just how we do. We have a lot of good conversation. And my cousin, Robbie, just joined, and Roberta. I got Robert and Roberta. What's up, everybody? So here's the thing, what we do here is we talk about love, we talk about dating, right? And so we know that this is a conversation. So those of you who are trickling in live, and those of you who are listening out on iHeartRadio, those of you who are listening out on Armed Radio Global, you know that you can call in. The number is 1-800-504-5431. I'm sorry, 508-5431. I've been on the beach. Let me just tell you, people. I've been on the beach today and I've been drinking, honey. Not much, but I'm a lightweight. Mama's a lightweight, so it only took a couple. Anyway, that call-in number is 1-800-5008-5431. You know it's going to be a lively conversation tonight. Also, you can either comment or question me live right here on Facebook if you are on the Facebook, if you're a social media type person like I am, or if you're shy, and I know there's people out there who want to get at me and talk and ask a question, but they don't want all their business out in the street. So you can email me at askforcandypodcast@gmail.com. So, like I said, I'm Candice, Harper, lovecoach.com. My talent is conversation. My passion is personal growth. And my purpose is to teach and inspire radical self-acceptance in myself and others so that we can all live our best possible love life. Who don't want that, honey, right? Every Monday, what this show is about, we have lively conversations about different topics relating to love and relationships. Sometimes I bring on a special guest. Sometimes my special guest is you. Sometimes we play games and activities, but always we get a chance to laugh. Sometimes we get a chance to cry, or maybe just learn something new. Hopefully, every single time you show up, you learn a little something new, because I know I do. Even if I'm just, it's just me and I'm talking to you guys, I learn from you guys. When I have a guest, I always learn from my guests. And later on, I'm going to talk to you about the guests that we have for the rest of the month. I did these last 3 shows just me because I was feeling like I wanted to create that intimacy again. And tonight's going to be a really intimate show. But now that we're, settling into getting to know each other better, we can start bringing in some other people again. I have 3 of the most amazing guests lined up for the rest of the month. So, hopefully you'll keep tuning in. But this is why this is a conversation, right? We're not here to hand down any dating rules, tips, and tricks. I'm not a tips and tricks kind of coach, because if the deep down stuff is not healed, it doesn't, the tips and tricks are not sustainable. Like, they're great if you feel good about yourself and you're self-accepted and, deep down you feel healthy and emotionally intelligent and all that good stuff. But, we don't want people out there like sociopaths just doing these tips and tricks and getting people in and out of their lives and not having great relationships. So our only intention is to create audacious intimacy, seductive singlehoods, and healthy relationships. And right now we are in the summer of sexploration, honey. And you guys all know, hi, my Lee, who just joined. You guys know my Lee is like you're unofficially my co-host by now, Lee. I just hope that you know that. Also, I see Clemencia joined. So, we've been doing our summer of sexploration, and I have to say, like, I don't know about the rest of you, but I am feeling more and more liberated as the summer wears on. It might be the coronas I had today. It might be that. I don't know. But I'm feeling a strong sense of liberation. I feel in my feminine energy. I feel like, this summer has just been all about like knowing myself and, getting more acquainted with myself and therefore being able to get more acquainted with others. Right now I'm trying to get the live feed on the phone so I can be like answering you guys in a timely manner. See, this technology stuff, it's all over the place. Anyway. But yeah, it's been like this really fantastic summer. And I love that I chose to do this series. And here's the crazy thing. I've had no sex with anyone else because I chose to do that. Not like some big like moral celibacy thing or anything like that. What's up, Penny? Penny's here. Joe is here. I just was like, let me just chill out for a little bit. I don't need to actually be having sex. I want to just learn some things. I want to learn some things about myself. I want to learn some things about coaching. I want to learn some things about other people. I want to learn how this thing, it's just more about it. There's never, who knows all of it, right? You'll never learn enough. I feel like I'm one of those people who's a lifetime learner. And when it comes to this subject of sex, what I have found in doing the summer of sexploration is that this is an endless topic, which is fantastic, right? So tonight, as always, I want to have us releasing, right? I always want us to walk away from the podcast feeling better about ourselves, like a full shame release and open to our own desires and open to the things that we may be afraid of but interested in. Tonight I want to talk about sexy body confidence after the age of 35, because it's a very different thing than when you're before the age of 35, for obvious reasons and for some not so obvious reasons. So I really wanted to delve into that and talk about it. I want to get very related with you guys tonight because I'm going to talk a little bit about my own experience with it. And, those of you who are on the Facebook Live, that I want to hear about your experience with sexy body confidence. And it doesn't always have to be, something fantastic. Like, a lot of times, especially on social media, there's this pressure to be like, ooh, I feel so good. I look so good. Everything's so good in my life. But we go through ups and downs. And that's why we're having this conversation, so that we can talk about those little nuances, those little ups and downs, and also not feel like we have to pretend that because we are older that we've reached some pinnacle of sexy body confidence or that we don't care anymore. Because I don't actually believe that's true. I think a lot of people get to a certain age, and whether they're having sex or not, especially if they've been in a long-term relationship, they try to pretend like the body image thing it's a non-issue. They don't care about it. Oh, hi, Brandon. Brandon and Brian's here and Hyam's here. Brandon says, happy Monday. Happy Monday, Brandon. Glad you're here. So, that fake bravado thing that we do. But, let's face it, people. As we get older, things happen. Things change. And you watch them change, right? Like I said, I'm going to get related. So I'm going to tell a little bit of my own personal stuff. But when I was in my 20s, I used to always get Brazilian waxes. And for a while there, I kind of took a break from doing that. And, a good 7-8 years later, I decided to get a Brazilian wax, and things didn't quite look the same as they did before. Now, granted, I started out looking pretty good, so it's not horrible. But, there's certain things that happen as we get older where you're like, okay, honestly, like my boobs are a little low. Like you see it, you look at yourself, and if you allow yourself to, it's very easy to get very critical about our aging process, the things that our bodies have been through, just regular living stuff. And sometimes it can be like injury, illness. A lot of things can affect what our bodies look like and how we feel about our bodies and how that affects our sex life. Right? So, and I think that it's true for women and men. So I don't want anybody to feel in any way excluded from this conversation. However you identify yourself, however you identify, I told you those coronas. A little tipsy, but you can see like the beach is all over me. Anyway, like however you identify yourself, I know that this is an issue that we all deal with on some level. And, that desire to just feel really good, whether or not you're in a relationship, when it comes to sex, how you show up for sex, and, how you see yourself in a sexual, in your sexual visions or dreams or things like that. And also the pressure that we get from porn and, seeing other sort of sexual things represented for us sometimes can really wreak some serious havoc. So, just to give you a little bit about my own sort of journey with that, like I was conditioned growing up, and we all come from our conditioning, right? So, and here's the thing too, I don't believe that this is cause to hold any grudges or anything like that, but our parents, they say and do things. Maybe our siblings say and do things. Kids at school say and do things. And sometimes we take those things on and we take them with us. I remember the first time I ever decided to go on like this workout regime, which I decided to do because, my mother was very hard on herself about what her body looked like. And it was always about, did I lose weight? Did I lose weight? Am I losing weight? I've gained weight. I'm so fat. I'm not fat. So what I learned as her daughter and as a young girl was that that's what you do. You focus on your weight loss, your weight gain, how your clothes fit. You got to worry about it every single day. And that's what I learned unconsciously, right? So I remember starting my very first workout regime. I think I was like 12 years old or something. And I wasn't like a big kid, but I definitely never missed a meal. And I remember my dad said, are you doing all of this because somebody at school called you fat? Now, I know he didn't mean anything terrible by it, but I took that with me, like throughout my adult life. Like, everything I told, like it's about what other people think of me, or, I need to be doing this because I am fat. Like I just told myself all this more story around it. And it turned into an entire adulthood of dieting, not dieting, dieting, not dieting, and never feeling like I was looking like I need to be looking for a really great sexual experience. Not ever really being able to just be present to my sexual experiences because I was conscious about, did I lose enough weight? Am I too fat right now? My clothes aren't fitting right. If I take off my clothes, then I must really look terrible. Like it's just all of that inner dialogue. So, then as I got older, then things actually did start to happen. Like I said, the thing with the Brazilian wax, and you notice things, they do drop a little bit, and then your body starts to go through different things. I was in a really bad relationship for a while. And let me tell you, if you're in a toxic relationship, it ages you. It's not good for your organs, the functioning of your body. Like it will take its toll on you. During that relationship, I had 3 miscarriages. That takes its toll on you. So there's a lot. And for those of you who are parents out there, first of all, if you're women and you've had babies, I'm sure like the hormonal changes and how you see your body and what it does to your body. And even if you don't have a full-term pregnancy, I can tell you, you still have the hormonal changes that happen to your body. And that can be just devastating to how you see yourself and, how you show up when it comes to your sexuality. For the men out there, even, now there's this new term, right? Dad bod, which I think is hilarious. But, by the same token, it's like, it puts pressure on men. When you have kids, maybe you're not as conscious about how often you're going to the gym. Maybe there's a pressure on you to be more involved with what your kids are doing and caring more about what they're doing or providing for your family. So you're not maybe eating as well as you should be eating. Things like that. And that can take its toll too. Just being tired parents can take its toll. So I say all of that to say that all of us are in it. After age 35 and sometimes even earlier, we go through changes in our bodies and we go through different things in the world that we live in that can have a really adverse effect on how we view ourselves. And when we have an adverse effect on how we view ourselves, it shows up in our sex life. sometimes the impact can be just that, like, just so embarrassed that we can't even engage. And that's why I titled this Doing It with the Lights On. Not saying that you have to, you can, it's whatever you prefer, but it's that idea of like being able to be bare naked, bare your soul, fully intimate with someone that you're having a sexual experience with, and not conscious and confident about your body, not because you look like a swimsuit model, not because you look like, one of the firemen from the fireman pinup calendar, but just because you have accepted and you love yourself enough that it's, that the sexual act is not about trying to meet some sort of standard, right? Especially after a certain age. Like we don't have to meet any sort of standard. And I know some of us, we say, oh yeah, I know. I don't meet any sort of, I don't worry about that sort of thing. But if you are in any way self-conscious, and if you do concern yourself with your body, or if you stop yourself from having sex because you're thinking about your body, it's worth the conversation. It's just worth it to look at it, right? So what I did was, I did some research. I like to do the research online. I see Evie's here. Hi, Evie. I saw you join. Hi, Michael Ronan, who just joined. What's up, people? So, I like to do the research. I did a little research online, and I compiled my own list from what I've been doing and what's been working for me as far as gaining back my sexy body confidence, or I shouldn't even say gaining it back, but actually creating it from a place of like not it just being external. Because I've had times in my life where, I'm wearing the right thing, or maybe I was thinner that day or whatever, where I might have felt a little sexier than another day. But because that's fleeting, it's not sustainable, right? So, I compiled this list for like, how do we sort of, here's the thing, though. There's nothing you can maintain 100%, because that's not how life works. It's not about, I flick a switch and all of a sudden I have sexy body confidence forever. It ebbs and it flows, right? But how do we support ourselves in having a healthy, confident, sexy outlook when it comes to our bodies? How do we support ourselves in not letting aging and the other things and the wear and tear run the show, right? How do we support ourselves in all of that stuff? So the first one, I did this whole list of things. The first one is to look at the deal, like what's the deal with your partner? So if the thought of your partner's attraction for you doesn't give you like a little spark of feeling sexy, then you're either not really in touch with their feelings, or you're with the wrong partner. And by that I mean, because I'm a big believer in generating our own sort of self-image and how we feel and stuff like that. But if you're gonna have sex with someone, if thinking about how they're attracted to you and they feel an attraction for you is not enough to like at least spark a little bit of like, responding sexuality, either you're ignoring the fact that they're attracted to you, or you're just not in touch with their feelings, or you're with the wrong person. Like, and that's not to say that you have to be connected to everybody that you have sex with. But, that part of it is a big component. Like, you don't want to walk into a room, and I've heard this a lot, more so from women, where women, they don't necessarily enjoy being touched or things like that because of their own feelings about their body. So if someone like your husband or your partner or, whoever you are having sex with wants to touch you, and your decision is, I don't like my body, so therefore you cannot touch me, that's something to look at, because it completely ignores the fact that your decision that you're not attractive, is not being agreed to by the person that wants to have sex with you. I don't know how to make that make sense in a way that it sort of hits home. And let me know, those of you on Facebook Live, let me know if that makes sense to you. Because the whole idea here is like the feeling of unattractiveness is us telling ourselves that we're not worthy of someone else wanting us in the face of someone else wanting us. It's like it's ignoring the reality. Like if someone's there and they're wanting to have sex with you, then that's what's in reality, as opposed to what we are perceiving, what we've decided. And when I was doing my research, I went to a site called wealthysinglemommy.com, which is run by a woman named Emma Johnson, and she had a really great quote. That men are predisposed to love pussy more than we are to hate our bodies. So it is much as, and I love that quote, because what she's talking about is the difference between, biology and culture. So we're conditioned to hate our bodies. We don't come out as babies thinking that we're too fat. We don't come out as babies, putting ourselves down. That's all our conditioning. But biologically, men or women who are attracted to women, or whoever would be attracted to us, like that's chemistry, that's biology, that's natural. That's, we are meant to be attracted to each other. We are meant to want to connect with each other. We're meant to want to have sex with each other. That's how we're made up. That's how we're wired. If that makes any sense. So I thought that was a great quote, because I think a lot of times we let the conditioning rule the reality, when in fact, it's up to us. Life is like a plate that we make it. So if I choose to say that I'm attractive, who's going to check me about it? And if I find someone who agrees with me and is attracted to me, who am I to be like, nah, you're wrong, I'm not attractive? Like, disregard your own eyes, disregard your own feelings. I'm not attractive. I've decided. Got it. So that one is, like body confidence can come from other people's attraction to us when we allow it. We allow ourselves to. For men, I would say, women who love you will forgive a multitude of sins. It's true. I think even sometimes the most superficial of women, when they love a man and they actually, sometimes it's just because he's got a whole lot of money and they might be attracted to you for that. But any man who's out there, if you have money, any man who's out there feeling self-conscious and feeling, like he's not deserving of touch, or that a woman won't be attracted to him, there's a cap for every bottle. So I know, see, it's hard because I think that the dynamic might be slightly different for men, but I don't want to exclude you guys. And those of you who are on the Facebook Live, please feel free to chime in with, what I know, like I always ask this, and it's like kind of a hard thing because people don't necessarily want to give their experience, but I'd like to see what men say about this as far as like how they view their bodies and if they run into issues. I've talked to men who, they say, oh, I've been drinking for years and, I'm out of shape. I never go to the gym. I don't take care of myself. Like, I can't imagine that a woman would be attracted to me. Or, my wife, she doesn't want to have anything to do with me. And and men, I think they deal more with like erectile dysfunction and things like that, maybe less so than physique. But I don't want to exclude that either. So, you guys that are listening in, please, by all means, comment and let me know what your take is on that. So that's number one. Number two, the other thing to look at if you really want to motivate and inspire sexy body confidence within yourself is to pay attention to your demons. Sounds so ominous, but it's like those nasty voices in your head that used to be your exes, your parents, your siblings, people who were abusive or bullying. I mentioned it earlier, but all the critical things that were said to you that you just took on as truth, and now they sound like your own voice in your head, right? So, like I was saying, I gave you the example earlier with my family. Lee said, sorry, I had to step away. That's all right, Lee, you're back, and that's all that matters. So, it's all those, we're talking about your demons. We're talking about all the critical voices that are in your head that turn into our own. They start to sound like our own voice. So if you're one of those people who's like, a lot of times in the mirror, you're like, oh, look at me, I look so old. Look at these wrinkles. Look at how much weight I gained. And you're pinching the fat and you're pointing it out. I'm so tired. Like, our language and our word, it's how we manifest reality, right? It's how we make it real with our beliefs. So the more we believe that we're aging or we don't look good or, something's wrong with the way that we look, the more we bought into those, we've agreed with all of those critiques and comments over the years growing up, the more we take all of that on, the more that becomes our real experience, right? And the body just kind of follows what the brain tells it to do. I don't know if you know that. If you say a lot of things about your body, you talk about always being sick, you're going to always be sick. If you talk about looking old, you talk about aging, you talk about wrinkles, that's exactly what you're going to get. You talk about fat, you pinch the fat, you give yourself a hard time, that's exactly what you're going to get. So then when it comes down to like getting naked time, of course, that inner voice is not going to all of a sudden turn around and be like, you sexy beast, go in there and get it. You're still going to be in that same space of like, you know, I don't look good, I don't feel good, I got to cover up, we got to turn off the lights. And see, you know, when we allow those opinions to impact us in that way, it's like year after year, we are volunteering for this sort of like victimhood of criticism, this victimhood of what was told to us, rather than deciding for ourselves, right? This is all about taking our power back too. Sexy confidence is about taking back your power, honey. About that internal conversation. What are you saying to yourself? So that brings us to the next one. And let me know if I'm moving too fast and you guys want me to slow down and really pinpoint on something, or if you want to ask a question, or if you have something that you want to chime in about as far as, you know, what are some things that you suggest or that you have done for yourself that have helped you to bring your sexy body confidence. Like, I feel like it's important that we contribute like a community because we always have different ideas, right? So Lee says, negative thoughts hold us back. A change in attitude with a focus in positive changes is everything. Still have to do the work, but you can't be negative and move forward. Absolutely, Lee. I absolutely agree with that. And, you know, we always talk about like negative and positive thoughts. And a lot of people, because it is so much in the personal growth conversation and the self-help conversation, a lot of people blow it off like, positivity means nothing. But when it comes to your confidence and how you see yourself, you have to undo years of conditioning and years of living in a society where everything is marketed to us to say you're not enough. Like every magazine you see on the stands, every movie we watch, everything we see is marketed to us to say you're not enough. So positive thinking and positive affirmation and being able to tell yourself, yes, I am enough. Like I am sexy, all of that stuff. And I'm so adamant about it. And sometimes, people say I'm very Pollyanna when it comes to it because I know it works. Because I know it works, people. And Lee says positivity means everything. It really does. Like what we say, we're so powerful as human beings. What we say is exactly what we make to be true. You're walking around even in jest and you're calling yourself fat. You're calling yourself old. You're saying that you can't do things. You're tired and, it is what it is. Well, that's just the way it is. That's my life. That's what I got to deal with. You're letting the circumstances rule you and also you're perpetuating the circumstances rather than using your word and your will to change the circumstances. If you really want to. If you want to have sexy body confidence, you got to talk to yourself in a way that is confidence inducing, sexy inducing. You got to look at yourself and say, I'm a sexy beast. So that's why I say the third one is praise all of it. Like I said, we're steeped in this culture of not good enough. And so when you're praising all of it, here's the thing about that. It starts out, it's not that easy. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to look at yourself in the mirror and to be able to like just pick out things that are good about yourself. Like I love my legs. I love my legs because they get me through my workout every day and I can run around and they're long and I think they're beautiful and I love them. Absolutely. I love my arms because they're like really super strong and they can hold me in plank pose for like 3 minutes. Like amazing arms. I love them. I think they're fantastic. Like what I can do is just go and pick apart piece by piece and just enjoy and praise and love it. And who's going to stop me? Who's going to stop me? Like other people might have different opinions. They might not feel the way about me that I feel about me. But who cares? It doesn't matter. This is about the positive things that we say about ourselves and what we give ourselves and what we manifest for ourselves and our bodies and our confidence by our own word. And we get to choose. What does Lee say? Lee says, my dad always said he wanted to be short, fat, and bald. He did it. He achieved it, right? I say I want to be better at 50 than I was at 20. Well, I gotta say, Lee, I've seen pictures of you on the Facebook. You look fantastic. For those of you who are out there in listening land, my unofficial co-host Lee is amazing looking. He runs, he looks fantastic. He definitely doesn't look like he's almost 50. And like he's saying, he practices what he preaches. He said that he wants to be better at 50 than at 20. I've known Lee since he was 16, 17. I gotta say, I would say he's better at 50 than he probably was at 20. What's up, Denise? Denise just joined us. So yeah, it's really about being able to get into that positive headspace. And I know it feels like the forces are working against you, but once you realize that your power is in you deciding who you are, what you look like, and how to be, and you get to dictate that, you get to say, then no one else can check you, honey. No one else is going to be able to say anything. Okay, here's another one that's going to help with that sexy body confidence. And also too, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this really is about a deep dive. This is not about like, a lot of my research, the tips and tricks are like, put on something sexy. What's up, Yvonne? Jimenez just joined us. Hey, honey, put on something sexy, light some candles and make sure everything smells good. And those things are great. Nobody's knocking those things. But I know that I'm talking to grown-ass people. And so I'm talking about, like, what is the deep dive? Like, what is the real work do to be had? Because this not only affects our sex life. And the reason that I'm doing the Summer of Sexploration is not just about sex. When we can master this area of life, we can master confidence in all areas of life. Like, this is sort of the apex of it all, our sexuality and how we connect and how we love ourselves. So the next one is do something daily that takes care of your body in a major way. I say actually show your body real love. I'm not just, yes, there's the praise. Yes, there's the word. Yes, there's the positive thinking. Absolutely. Very important. And the next important component of that is action. So it's just like with manifestation. Ask, believe, receive. But you have to be in action. You have to take inspired action. And the way to take inspired action when it comes to loving your body is to do something daily that actually is good for your body, is actually good for it and loving towards it and whatever. I know, a lot of us out there, myself included, it's so easy to abuse our bodies. Like I said, I'm drinking Coronas on the beach today. And as much as that was fun, I wouldn't be doing that daily because that doesn't support sexy body confidence. That's just something fun for me to do. If I did that every day, I would be 300 pounds. I'd be an alcoholic, and I probably would be sunburnt too. I don't know if y'all can tell like how many different colors I am right now. But what I'm saying is that you want to do something daily that actually is you in action, showing you how much you love yourself. We're not talking about narcissism. We're not talking about like fake it till you make it or anything like that. It's, how do I authentically make sure that I'm okay? So I have things like eating vegetables. I know some of us, those of us who don't ever eat vegetables feel like, I don't want to eat vegetables. That's the last thing I want to do. And those of us who sometimes eat vegetables could add more vegetables. You can never eat too many vegetables. I mean, of course, that was hyperbole. But vegetables, Lee says tan lines are sexy. Thank you, Lee. Those of you listening at home, I showed off my tan lines. Vegetables will make you feel good and they will slow your aging process. And also, it's just a kind thing to do for your body. It will help you poop. It will just help you feel better. And I know this is all rudimentary. I'm not saying that you guys don't know this stuff, but just because we know it doesn't mean that we do it. Do it every day. Do it every day. And I know I'm not normally this bossy, but I'm feeling bossy tonight. Masturbate. That is something you can do every damn day. Every damn day you could do that. And if it means you got to get up a little earlier, or, find yourself a little private spot. Those of you who are parents, it might be a little more challenging. I get it. Especially if you have little kids who always want to be wherever you are. I get it. Find yourself some time to give yourself some sexy love every single day if you want to. Some days you might not manage to do it, but if the intention is to do it as often as possible, show yourself that love and connection. I'm a big advocate of the yoga. Those of you who know me, you know I love the yoga. I think that yoga is a metaphor for life. It's, mastery. It's how we train ourselves to take our time to learn things. It's a beautiful thing. It not only trains your body and also, lengthens your body and makes you look better and all of that good stuff. It just makes you feel better. It makes you think clearer. It's fantastic. Now, you don't have to do yoga, but these are all just suggestions for what you could do. So Yvonne says, I try, LOL. I know you do, honey. And that's all we can do is, have our intention and be committed to it and just do the best that we can do each day. Just always do our best as far as it's concerned. It's your body. Show it love because it deserves it. And no matter what you've been through, it deserves it. Lee says, you should learn to love yourself and explore all of you. It helps you share the love with your partner. Thank you, Lee. Exactly. That's totally it. Penny Hit said, bathroom, shower running, fan on. Whoop, that's right, honey. See, so Penny's a mom. And that's what you do. Like, figure out what you need to do to have your little moments of pleasure, your moments of like taking care of yourself. Because there ain't nothing wrong with that. Bathe lavishly. Treat your human suit like it's something you truly love, not just with the admiration, but with action. I don't know. If you guys have anything else you want to say on that, please feel free to chime in. I love it when you chime in. Thank you, Lee and Penny. Yes, absolutely. I agree with both of you. Explore so that you can overflow onto your partner. It's a good thing. All right, so what else? Oh, here's another one. Now, I don't want to get on my soapbox because I already talked about yoga, but making your physical health a priority. Now, for those of you who don't exercise, please don't shut down and close your ears right now because I'm not talking about exercise. I'm talking about something just as important as exercise. So like when we let wounds and aches and pains, like I'm someone, I don't know if you guys remember a few weeks ago, I was having back problems and I actually was able to cure that, by the way. There's this book called Healing Back Pain by Dr. John Sarno. If you can get a hold of that book, if you have back pain, you will cure it if you actually read that book and whatever. That's a whole other story. But pains, aches, things that like fester in the body, they stress and they age us when we just let them go and we don't do anything about them. Whether it's, if you're holistic like me, you might want to do some sort of meditation. You might want to do some sort of like acupuncture or massage or whatever. If you're not so holistic and you want to go and see the doctor to find out what kind of medication you need to take, I'm not a big advocate of medication, but I know not everybody is like, trying to be all natural and take their time with their pain like I am, but you don't try to tough it out. Don't try to tough out the injuries and the illnesses and things like that happen to your body. I know that when we're sick and things are hurting, like the last thing we're usually thinking about is what sex is going to be like in those times. But, when we let that stuff go by for a long time and we just allow ourselves to suffer like that, what we do is we sort of like make smaller our sort of scope and our window for actually being able to feel confident about connecting with other people. It's like, I don't know why the movie Marley and Me comes up, because I think about how dogs, and here's spoiler alert if you haven't seen the movie, but when dogs are going to die, they will separate themselves from their pack, their family, right? And even out in the wild, they separate themselves to go and die elsewhere. It's a biological thing. Human beings are very similar in that when we get sick, our natural inclination is to isolate ourselves. Or if we do want people to take care of us, we still are in a space of that we're weak, or that, there's something that is mentally, I don't know why I can't think of my words. I had too much beer. But you get what I'm saying. Like when we don't feel good and we let that go on, perpetually, and we don't take care of it, we don't look after ourselves, like that just becomes the norm. And then when it comes to being sexy and getting connected, it becomes more and more challenging because really we're in this shell of like pain or illness or wound or festering or, you know, whatever. So make sure you're pooping regularly, because constipation ain't sexy, and you will not find your sexy confidence if you walk around constipated. Are you getting enough fiber? I know that sounds like old people shit. Nobody wants to hear that. Your oral hygiene, all that stuff. Like, don't get lazy about that stuff. Just because we're getting older, just because we're, you know, grown-ass adults, doesn't mean it's like time to give it up or pack it in. Like, still be taking care of those things if you want to have that sexy body confidence, if that is a priority for you. I see Jonathan just joined us. What's up, baby? All right, so now for those of you who are anti-exercisers, now I'm going to talk about the regular exercise. Because, you know, a majority of us are spending most of our day on our butts, right? So in as much as I like, even, you know, I spend most of my morning working out, like walking and doing yoga and stuff, but I end up in front of my computer on my butt way more often. And like decades of that, decades of being on your butt, decades of any sort of like sedentary lifestyle, you can live and you can be fine. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying you're wrong if that's the life that you want to live. But if you really want sexy body confidence, if you really want to be in a space of like, you know, I feel good about myself, good enough to be connected and naked and freedom. That's what we're looking for. I just said it. That's what it comes down to. You want to feel freedom. You want to feel sexual freedom. You want to feel life freedom, emotional freedom. You got to take care of yourself. And exercise, you all know, is a big part of that. Like, you want to be focusing on your orgasm, not your flab. And I say that like, oh, I figured it out, but I do it myself. Like, you know, it's something I have to be really present to, not worrying about, you know, oh, am I too fat over here? Or did my thighs just smack together and make a sound? Like, some dudes like that anyway. But but it's important to not try to be skinny, not try to be a magazine cover, but to work your heart, get your heart rate up. Make sure your circulation is good. Be living your best possible life as far as your physical ability. Be at the top of your own strength. Not because you're going to be lifting boxes or anything like that, but because it does feel good to be strong. Lee says, exercise brings out the natural endorphins in our bodies. Thank you very much. Group exercise brings positive support. When you see progress, exercise becomes more and more exciting. It's not easy, but do it. Yes, Lee, and take it from him. I mean, he runs. I know you run, Lee, and you look like you also lift weights. It's absolutely true. Like, don't skimp on that. And I know not everybody loves exercise. I'm someone who's had a love-hate relationship with it probably over the years. But, you know, get yourself out. Like, we're human beings and we're mammals, we're animals. We are meant to be physical. And Lee says, plus it can improve your stamina in bed. Yes. And Penny says, exercise increases my libido. And that's true too. Exercise will absolutely increase your libido. So, you know, there you go. We're talking about sexy body confidence. There it is. There's the proof in the pudding. It's not about being skinny. Let me reiterate this. It's not about trying to fit some sort of magazine ideal. It's about your body's functioning, your body's physiology. It's about, you know, doing for your body what it naturally needs. Okay, so we're on number 7. There's 8 altogether. We're doing pretty good because, you know, I feel like this hour goes by so fast I could talk to you guys forever. Lee says he's working out 6 days a week. I love that. I'm about that too. Like 6 to 7 days a week, I'm doing something, whether it's I'm getting in my 10,000 steps and interval training around the park. I'm doing my yoga. Most days it's both. Like, and not because I'm like, oh, I'm some sort of freak that I'm putting myself through it because I have to. No, like, yeah, I do have a weight loss goal. I always have a weight loss goal. But, you know, for nothing else, it's because it feels so good to be doing it. There's nothing that I'm doing that feels any better right now. I already told you guys I'm not having sex right now. So there's nothing that I'm doing besides masturbation that feels any better than the exercise that I do every day. And Lee says it's about feeling good and beating the aging process. Absolutely. Well, you definitely beat the aging process. There's no doubt about it. I feel like we're making good progress, people. I feel like we really, and also I feel like there's a possibility I might watch this back later and be like, you were slightly drunk when you did that. I was slightly drunk when I did this. Lee says, you're looking good. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. Like I mentioned earlier, I've known Lee since we were in high school. We're going back. We're going back some years. Some of you know how many years. And that's the thing. When someone, you knew back then compared to now, there's no reason why, if you're taking good care of yourself and doing things daily, that you can't maintain something fantastic. Penny says you don't have to be a supermodel. If your partner finds you attractive, go with it. Absolutely. If your partner finds you attractive, if you find you attractive, stop comparing. You don't have to compare yourself to anything else, to anyone else. It's like, feel good. All right, here's another one. This is off of the exercise thing because I don't want to beat you guys to death with it, and I know I can soapbox about it. So practice presence. I think that this is one of the hardest ones because a majority of us don't know how to be in the moment that we're in, like especially when it comes to sex and body confidence. So if we're worried about what our body looks like, if we're worried about, things that we did leading up to that sexual moment, things we're going to be doing later on after that sexual moment, and we're not in that moment with whoever we're with, whether it's someone that we're partnered with or someone that we're casual with or whatever, we rob ourselves of that sexy feeling that comes from just being there. Like experiencing. Like what it feels like to be touched, what it feels like to be naked and have the air on your skin, especially in the room with another person, what it feels like to look another person in the eye and have that desire connection. Like, we don't practice presence. We're often thinking about what we're about to do next or what we just finished doing. Conversation we had 3 days ago, it's rolling around in our mind, and what we're going to do about the bake sale on Sunday is rolling. It's like, how often in a sexy moment do we just let ourselves just be there without any of the old, criticizing, without any of the old picking ourselves apart, any of that stuff, just being where we are and experiencing it and feeling the feelings, like feeling all of the sensations and the smells, whatever it is that comes up. It's about practicing presence. And one really great way to do that and to train yourself to be able to practice presence is to find a partner, and they could be a romantic partner or not. I suggest a romantic partner because it's even more fun. And set a timer for 3 to 4 minutes where you're just going to look each other in the eye and do your best not to break eye contact. There can be no speaking, there can be no touching, just presence. Just actually making eye contact, looking at each other in the eye, and what happens from that. Just as an experiment, find somebody you love and care about and do that experiment with them, see what happens. All right, I'm down to the last one. And you guys can tell me what you think about the being present thing. And if you've ever done it. Lady Penny, I'd love to hear from you guys, like if you've ever done any sort of presence exercises and how you feel about doing that sort of exercise and finding presence in the moment that you're in. So the very last one, I see Ivan. Hi, Ivan has just joined us. The very last one is to just be real. So while it is sexy when we can connect with each other's confidence, right? It's very sexy if you can come into a room in your high heels and like give a lap dance. It's very sexy if you're that confident and you can exude that sort of thing. It's also really sexy to just be honest. If you don't feel like a porn star, because trying to be inauthentic about it is nerve-wracking. Like if you don't feel it deep down, that sexy body confidence, if you, are in a place where, like, in your heart, you can't get there. If you have someone who cares about you, it can be very sexy to just be authentic about that. Be authentic about not feeling sexy. And especially if you have a long-term partner. If you have a long-term partner that you've had kids with. Ivan says, "Hi, Candice, miss you. You look amazing." And Trey, beautiful. Thank you, Ivan. Thank you, my love. I'm glad you're stopping in for compliments. I love it. Thank you. But yeah, it's okay to just be honest and say, I'm not there. Especially if you're with a long-term partner and you've had kids together, you've been through some things together. It's okay to just be like, I can't get there. Like, I'm just not there right now. The caveat is to be with it and be okay with it and not be attached to that always being the case. Just because you're not feeling sexy body confidence in the moment you're in, if you're not feeling it, doesn't mean you'll always not feel it. Doesn't mean that that's forever. Like, we ebb and we flow, like I talked about at the top. Our feelings change. So when we share something like that with a partner, we share something like that with someone that we want to be intimate with, the idea is to not be attached to that always being who you are and how you are. I had a friend like years ago who, her sexual experiences had not been great. And, none of them she enjoyed. And so she decided that she just wasn't a sexual person and that sex really wasn't for her. She was in a relationship with somebody who really, really wanted to have sex with her. So there was a lot of pressure from his end and a lot of, trying to dodge it and kind of being authentic on her end. When sharing how she felt in an unattached way, not that I'm always forever going to hate sex, but right now, this is the experience that I've had so far, and this is how I see it, and this is where I'm at. What we do is we invite partners in to say, okay, as your partner, what can we do to create a win-win for both of us, and how can I support you in having a different experience? Because let's face it, no one, those things that we take on as our identities, like, I'm the girl who hates sex, or I'm the girl who sex always hurts for, or I'm the guy who can't keep it up. I'm the guy who, can only go 2 minutes. Like, when we attach ourselves to those self-identities and we share ourselves with other people, holding on to those self-identities, sort of doom ourselves to only having that experience. But when we're unattached to it, like, that's just what's happening right now. Anything can change. Then we invite in partnership. Lee says being mentally healthy is very important to physical and sexual health. They are all connected, always balanced. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. And and that is part of mental health, is being able to be in your authenticity and be okay with it and not be so attached to any one thing. Oh my goodness gracious, we got through all of them. I love it. Thank you guys on the Facebook who've been participating. Thank you so much for your comments and chiming in. Hopefully those of you who are listening out in the garden or on your TuneIn app or iHeartRadio, or if you're listening later, because I also put these replays on YouTube, hopefully you are connecting with this, and hopefully you're getting some healthy things out of this. I did a lot of research online, and like I said, using my own experiences and the things I do myself to maintain, or to create, I should say, to create my own sexy body confidence, because I'm looking to create a brand new experience than I've ever had before. I'm in a stage in my life where I have cleaned the slate. Like I said, the reason that I'm on this summer of Sexploitation is that this is about renewal and rebirth, and just having a completely different experience than I've had before, and seeing where that takes me, being in discovery around it. So I want the same for you guys. So if what you're having now, or what you're experiencing sexually now, is not working for you, and the body confidence thing is a big issue for you, just try some of these things on. Just see if it might help. The mirror affirmation thing, I think, can make a big difference. Do it for 21 days. Eat a little bit more vegetables. Add another serving of vegetables to your diet. 21 days. See what happens after that period of time. Just give it a try. Can't hurt. Especially if you're in a space of feeling, no sexy body confidence, or feeling, self-critical. All right, so it's time to start to wrap it up. As always, I want to tell you guys about my program, which is The Secret Art of Seductive Singlehood. And it's a 90-day program, mind, body, and spirit. It causes major shifts and transformations in every area of your life. And at the end, you have created a book for yourself that, it's a collection of your weekly accountability and what we have co-created to transform your relationships, transform your life, and to have you living the love life that you really and truly want. And like I always say, you get to learn why your purpose is not to partner. Partnership is there to support your purpose. That's what partnership is about. A lot of times we think that we're put on this earth to get married. We're put on this earth to partner, have kids with people, and that's it. But no, we have a why, a big why for being on this earth. And, and sometimes it is supporting somebody else in what they're doing. But if we're not connected to that purpose, it doesn't matter what kind of partner you're going to have. There'll always, that empty feeling is there because we all have a why. We all have a reason to be. And so what I teach in my program is how to get in touch with your reason to be, get in touch with your why, so that you can find partnerships or create partnerships that actually support your purpose, support your life, and are healthy. It's all about healthy. I'm coming down a little bit, but this is how much of a lightweight I am. Today I had 2 Coronas, that's it. And I'm still like feeling a little tipsy. And I think it might be the sun too. I don't know if you guys noticed how much sun I got today. Anyway, so the 3 things this week to make your love and your life sweeter. I want you guys to do some naked mirror appreciation. And, like I demonstrated earlier, just look at yourself in the mirror and find those things that you enjoy looking at and praise them. The more you do it, the more things you'll be able to find until you work your way maybe into the erogenous zones, or maybe, I don't know, you might go straight there. You're a straight to the pussy kind of gal, straight to the dick. That's up to you. But find those parts that you think are fantastic and praise them and give them the love that they deserve, and try to do it every day. I got 1 minute. I got to wrap it up. So that's number 1. Number 2, practice being present. I want you to do that exercise. 3 to 4 minutes, staring into each other's eyes. No talking, no touching. Number 3, I want you to stick with us for the rest of August in our continued Sexploration. This is the last month of the summer of Sexploration. I have coaches Laurel House and Robert Mack coming on to talk about sex and dating with an STI. I have Timothy Teach Jones, who's coming in from Single Circle to talk to us, and Dr. Eva Brown from the podcast Taboo Talk. So that's going to be juicy. And like I always say, until next time, never forget you are a love machine. If you ever start to feel like you aren't getting the love you need, just make more and ask for Candy. And that's for our armed radio people who are about to be out. For those of you who are still on the Facebook Live, don't forget to watch our YouTube